Good evening, everyone. Could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence for Dorothy Keaty, Shirley Van Wagenen, and Felicienne Cullen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all. Thank you. 4.01, public comments on agenda items. Comments, a total of 30 minutes at the beginning of each board meeting set aside to allow for public comments on agenda items only. Individual comments on agenda items are limited to 3 minutes and are welcomed. Based on the Opens Meeting Law and Board Policy 1230, debate or dialogue with board members is not allowed during the meeting. Compliments or complaints about students' discipline, specific student issue, or personnel must not be addressed during public comment. Comments or questions submitted to the use of the public comment form will be sent to the appropriate staff member who will provide a response on the district public comment response webpage. If you wish to address items related to our school district that are not on tonight's agenda, another comment period is provided at the end of the meeting for that purpose. In the interest of civility and respect for different points of view, clapping, booing, or any disturbance or disruption is not permitted. At this time, comments related to agenda items are welcome. Please state your name and the agenda items you are speaking on. Alberta, are there any comments that there were no comments? With that being said,
There were no comments. Thank you.
With that being said, 5.01, Superintendent's Report. Dwight, you got the floor.
Thank you, President Lumia, Vice President Onums, members of the Board of Education and Wappingers community. First of all, I'd like to say happy 2021. I'd like to begin my remarks recognizing one of our stellar students, Catherine Tan, who is a senior at John Jay High School, will be awarded the prestigious Dr. Martin Luther King Youth Honoree Scholarship Award from the Catherine Street Community Center on January the 22nd. This normally would occur at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast. Unfortunately, due to the COVID pandemic, there will be a virtual link that Catherine has asked me to attend, and I certainly will. Very, very proud of her. So again, Catherine, congratulations on this fine award. You're very deserving. And again, a round of applause, please, for Catherine Tan. Great work, Catherine. In addition to that, as you are aware, we continue to work through the COVID-19 pandemic. As you know, the Wappinger Central School District is committed to providing a safe environment that allows for as much in-person instruction as possible. We have 15 school buildings, and this evening, I know a notice went out probably within the last 45 minutes. We have 2 of our buildings that will switch to remote learning for tomorrow due to positive COVID cases. That will be Fishkill Plains and Vassar Road. Both of them will switch to remote learning for tomorrow in regards to positive COVID-19 cases. And John Jay High School will also be remote tomorrow for positive COVID-19 cases. Again, we continue to meet with the Dutchess County Department of Health on a weekly basis and continue to receive guidance from the medical professionals, not only within the county, but also within the state as to projections and recommendations as we move forward. Again, we are not approaching this from a district-wide perspective as we have 15 buildings. We will go building by building, case by case, day by day. And with that, again, I guess I will go into the budget presentation.
Yep. Thank you, Dr. Monk, you and your staff for keeping up update.
Absolutely, President Lumi. I want to thank our senior staff administration as well as our building administration. Needless to say, the work in regards to this is tireless. When we find out about these instances, we need to respond immediately. That might be late in the evening, it may be on holidays, it may be on weekends. In some cases it has been. And we couldn't have been as successful as we have been without the assistance of our senior staff administration and our building administration. I also need to thank Director Brois and the facilities and operations department for keeping our buildings cleaned and sanitized. Again, a job well done by all.
6.01, general support and instructional budget presentation. Dr. Bunk.
Thank you, President Lumia. So this is the general support and instruction budget request for 2021-2022. This is the wish list. I don't anticipate that this will be the recommended budget, but every year we go out and we ask all of our departments, what is it that you believe that you need to be successful in providing our students with the best education and educational facilities moving forward. So this is what we have for you this evening. I would like to thank Assistant Superintendent Crandall for all of her work on this. And at this point, Assistant Superintendent Crandall, if you'd like to begin, feel free.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bonk, and thank you, Board of Education, for the time this evening to discuss these preliminary requests for the budget. As Dr. Bonk had indicated, these are what we have always termed as the wish list. And these requests have not been vetted by senior staff. These are everything that everybody has asked for. So when the next presentation occurs, which will occur during our monthly financial updates, we will continue to have budgetary discussions, both on the current year budget as well as the 21-22 scenarios. These conversations will provide for much more information and insight. So the factors and challenges that we will be facing in the 21-22 budget, first and foremost, we have to identify the pandemic. We're providing education during a time that is unstable, and we don't really know what our instructional models will look like in the future. If we don't know what they look like, it's very hard to estimate costs for those. And while we're hyper aware of what of what the possibilities are, we really don't know. So we are, at this point in time, moving forward the best we can. We currently are incorporating a hybrid learning model. That is a more expensive learning model than having our students in school. It's more expensive all the way from the moment those students step on the school bus until the moment they return home. We, of course, have to be mindful of the tax cap. We have, as a district, under the leadership of the Board of Education, never pierced the tax cap, and we are looking, I'm assuming, based on the way our budget look to line up going forward, that is still not the goal of the Board of Education, but we will have that conversation for sure in the very near future. We have state aid concerns. We have yet to receive preliminary projections from the governor's office. We do not know the status of our state aid for this year, as we share in every monthly financial update. So again, state aid is another area that is certainly a challenge for the district as we move through this process. We do have CARES Act money that the district has been utilizing for supplies and equipment related to the pandemic that were not budgeted in the 2021 school year's budget. We have that money, if there is any left, to carry over until September of 2021. On the next slide, we do discuss what we currently use. We use estimates to the best of our ability. More than often, they are conservative in nature until we are able to finalize them. And even as we've shared with the Board of Education in the past, there are certain estimates that we can't finalize prior to them being approved by the Board of Education in April before it becomes a budget to go to the taxpayers, but we do that the best we can. We have some stability of economic markets that seem to be a little bit up and down. We watch those as well. These impact everything from the basis, one of the core pieces of that tax cap, the Consumer Price Index, or what we call CPI, to our health insurance contribution rates. What is the district going to pay for a renewal with the Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield through the Dutchess Educational Health Insurance Consortium, for example, as well as what the New York State Retirement System rate of returns are. Again, this budget is based on all schools and buildings requests. These are basically what buildings and departments need in order to provide a high quality student-based education. And again, these are everything that everybody has asked for. Nothing was turned away. And then, of course, we work with the Board of Education and the senior staff to compile feedback and to make sure that we have the best budget that we can bring forth to the taxpayers. As we have stated this evening, we are looking at 2 of the 4 components, general support and instruction. And this graph just shows what our tax cap rates have looked like by percentage over the last, since the tax cap inception, actually in 2012-13. And as right now we're operating at a tax cap of, or a consumer price index of 1.81%. And we have heard projections for the 21-22 school year as low as 1.3. And again, it can max out at 2%. So we will be finding out this information in the next couple of weeks. We're waiting on finalization from New York State. General support, preliminary budget requests. These are the areas that compose the general support area of the budget. These are mainly non-programmatic items. As we had discussed in previous years, the ESSA reporting standards have required building level reporting. There is not building level reporting in this area. This area is solely non-programmatic and can be budgeted at the district level. The next slide does provide the Board of Education with a composition of the general support. So of the $9.9 million that's currently being proposed, 51% of that is related to salaries, 29% to contractual, and so on. You can see it pictorially in this slide. When we're reviewing the general support items, when you are looking at these numbers and you are attempting to wrap your head around it, again, these are the departmental requests. These are very preliminary. There's no new staff in this budget, and any bargaining units that are out of contract, a conservative estimate has been applied to essentially hold funds in those account codes for those contracts that either were out of contract as of 6/30/2020 or will be out of contract 6/30/2021. We're trying to provide the most realistic salary needs available to the district. Even though we don't have finalized contracts, again, that doesn't mean the contracts will negotiate out at those salary percentage increases or changes in budgetary numbers are really just to hold money and will be updated as we move through the process as applicable. We have utilized a 5% increase based on the projected actual expenses for 2021. This again will be updated. We're just getting the service requests in from BOCES. So now we will start the process called initial service requests. We'll work on that. Our vehicle and equipment leases are remaining constant. General liability insurance, we did see a significant increase 2 years ago that we did not expect from the New York State Insurance Reciprocal or NYSER. So again, we went back to a 3% increase. This is one of those estimates that we will not even have finalized by the time the budget is approved by the board or reviewed by the board and approved by the board and sent to the taxpayer. So this is a number that we will have to finalize well after the fact into the new year. When you look at the component change for the general support, again, preliminary requests, we're looking at an increase of $625,347. This represents 3.24%. The changes that compromise in each of the areas that we saw on the previous slide, salaries is almost $131,000. This is all contractual or conservative estimates for any salaries for any units that are out of contract. We have the BOCES increase at 5% based on actual expenses. We have an increase in contractual area of $272,393. There were significant cuts in both the contractual and supplies area during the 2021 budget. So it's not surprising that we see increases in these areas by the departmental leaders and the educational leaders at the building. These services range from estimates that we know to increases that we also can confirm, as well as new services and new supply requests in both of those areas with regard to contractual and supplies. As we move through this process, the Board of Education will be shown what each of these increases represent. Again, preliminary budget requests. These will be reviewed by the senior staff, and we will have continued conversations in these areas. The next few slides are discussing instruction and their preliminary budget requests. Again, this is a much larger area. This encompasses all of the programmatic items for the district, as you can see on this slide. So this includes everything from our Office of Instruction Administration all the way through interscholastic. The next slide does show a pictorial view, again, as a pie graph of the proposed instructional budget of approximately $137 million, of which you can see 80.84% is salaries. Again, remember, this is the area for programmatic items. The services that we provide to the school district is education. So it would make sense that the majority of this area of the budget would be salaries, as it is our teachers, our monitors, excuse me, our coaches, our teaching assistants, and our instructional leaders at the building level that are all, and their support staff that provide the services to our students. As with the general support area, there are no new staff in this area, but there are bargaining units that do have conservative estimates applied as they either expired June 30th of 2020 or will be expiring June 30th of 2021. We wanted, again, to be as realistic as possible. We utilized the same increase proposal of 5% for BOCES based on the actual expenses that we believe the year will finish out for in 2021. We have increased the private tuition line in the area of special education, specifically because that line has excuse me, has increased, and we want to make sure that it's representative. There was a cut made to that in the 2021 budget, which, as we look back, may not have been the best area to make a cut, especially since these services and these contracts and tuitions were still necessary. As I had shared in the previous slide, we're not surprised that equipment, supplies, and contractual numbers will increase in this area. You can go to the next slide, please, because the cuts that were made in the 2021 school year were quite significant. So as you can see, there is a 5.75% increase right now in the 2021-2022 instructional area of the budget. It equates to $7.4 million. The majority of that is related to salaries. Again, almost 81% of the expenses in this unit are related to salaries. BOCES is representative of that 5% of proposed actual expenses. That will be updated. Textbooks, that is every request that was made. Again, remember, a textbook is a reimbursable item. So we have a dollar per dollar reimbursement from New York State. And right now we are over that with these requests. Excuse me, so we will definitely be looking at that. I have like a frog in my throat, I'm very sorry. The contractual and supply lines, again, as we had indicated, I'm not surprised by this at all based on the cuts that were made in 2021 in order to get the budget to balance. So these are the things.
Thank you, Ms. Crandall. Why don't you grab a drink of water there? You did an exceptional job. Thank you. So where do we go from here? Budget process 2021, 2022. Well, first of all, we need input from our community. So again, we have the budget at WCSDNY.org. Any questions, any comments, any feedback, We need to hear from you. Let us know. We will continue to provide resources and presentations and reports. Those will be posted to the Board of Education website. Our frequently asked questions, we post to the budget website within 2 days. We're going to continue to use long-term planning to develop various discussion points identified by our community, our Board of Education, and our administration. We will continue to work to refine estimates and confirm data, and we will evaluate the feedback from the Board of Education for use in the formulation of our budget. So here's the calendar. Obviously today, January 11th, we did general support and instruction budget. The next board meeting, January 25th, monthly financial update. We will include some budget reporting there. February the 8th, superintendent forum, a budget conversation. We will also provide transportation and undistributed budget presentations and vehicle replacement plans presentations to the Board of Education. February the 22nd, we'll have another superintendent forum, a budget conversation, another monthly financial update to include the 2021-2022 rollover budget. April 19th, deadline for Board of Education approval of our 2021-2022 budget. Community forum on May 10th, and the state mandated public hearing on the budget, and then the budget vote on May the 18th. Again, I can't say enough to the community. Please make sure that you send us our thoughts, budget@wcsdny.org. Again, you're a very, very important part of this process. So again, help us build that budget. Send your questions, send your concerns and feedback. We look forward to some very rich discussion based on the information that you send us between the administration and the Board of Education to develop a budget that is fiscally responsible, maintains programs and services for our students, and provides an environment that allows us to provide the educational opportunities that our students richly deserve. So with that, Board of Education, any questions for Ms. Crandall or myself? And thank you.
John, when you're ready, I have a question. Dr. Blank, I can't hear him.
He's
John,
on
you're
mute,
muted.
Trustee Rubin, go right ahead.
This is a question, I don't know if it's being phrased right, so forgive me on this one, but do you have any kind of a sense if the submissions that were given to you are based upon what people feel they are likely to get, or what they actually do need, and what they feel strongly that they need to continue successful programs? Do you have any sense on that?
Yeah, that's sure. That's a great question. We indicate what they need. That's how we communicate it. What you need to continue to provide the types of programs and services that you believe that our students need. So whether or not some of them maybe propose things that they think they'd want that they wouldn't need, I can't say that that doesn't happen. But I would think that if that does, it's fairly limited. So I would think that this is pretty realistic in terms of the requests that have been made for staffing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
John, you're on mute.
Are there any other questions by anyone? Seeing none, 7.01 consent agenda resolution. Does anyone want to pull any item from the agenda resolution? John Morgan?
Yes, 7.07, please.
Anything else? With that being said, Keith, please read the resolution. Resolved.
Okay. Resolved that the Board of Education does hereby approve the following consent agenda items as stated: 7.02, 7.03, 7.04, 7.05, 7.06, 7.08.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
second, okay, Marie first and second by Peggy Callan. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, 7.07, John. Please read 7.07, Keith.
Sure.
Or
Resolved that the
Keith,
Board of Education does hereby approve the whole harmless agreement with Affinity Athletics, a copy of which is on file with the district clerk.
So moved.
Okay, Marie, so moved. Okay, Callan. Okay, go ahead, John.
Yeah, I'd just like to make a general point with regard to this. I'm of the understanding that at this point in time, the high schools do not have all of the needed equipment to provide for a gymnastics program, which is something the district has had for a very long period of time. At one point in time, I'm guessing within the past 10 to half dozen years, programs were offered in the school gymnasiums due to outdated equipment or whatever. For the past handful of years, this facility has been rented. It comes inclusive of the equipment, and the district has utilized that. My question has been answered, but I just want to make the point or the request that where there are opportunities, and this is not a good one, I realize that, based on the equipment limitation, but where there are opportunities, I hope that at the building level or below central staff, that people are looking for ways that we can say, hey, let's not rent this or let's not use this contractor because we're not utilizing all of our resources because there are high-risk sports that could possibly save the district money during time when we just heard a presentation about how our instructional model is more expensive than what the normal one is. Thank you for your time.
Okay, well, that being said, all in favor of resolution 7. Bobby, Ruby?
yes.
Okay, all right. Next item on the agenda, I believe is 9.01.
8.01.
8.01.
8.01.
8.01, excuse me. Approval of resolution to 2021 to 2022 school calendar. Keith?
Whereas the Board of Education adopted the 2020-2021 school calendar at their meeting on March 23rd, 2020, and subsequent revisions were approved on August 19, 2020, October 19, 2020, and November 16, 2020. Whereas it has been determined that the 2020-2021 school calendar requires additional revisions, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education does hereby revise the school calendar to be changed to February half day from February 11th, K through 8, to February 10th, K through 12, and designating January 26th as a high school testing day, K through 8 students attended as scheduled.
Discussion?
So moved.
moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, approved. 9.01, approval of a new charter club. Keith?
Resolved that the Board of Education does hereby approve the new club charter for the Diversity Alliance Club at Van Wyck Junior High School as submitted.
Motion?
So moved.
moved.
All right, Jim Spencer, Peggy Callan, second discussion. Okay, Jim?
John, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I just want to congratulate the organizers for creating a club to provide a student-led safe space for students of all walks of life to come where they can express their individuality and uniqueness. I would hope that, especially in the junior high, that there would be like school in Wappinger Junior High. So I just want to express my appreciation to the folks that organized this. That's it.
And also
okay,
the sponsor.
any other comments?
Yeah, I'd also like to comment again, congratulations to Van Wyck and their staff and students for putting this together. I totally agree with Trustee Spencer. We do have many of these types of activities and groups within our schools, and where we don't, we certainly need to have them. So again, nice job over at Van Wyck. Again, very, very important to provide safe spaces for our students.
Eddie?
Real quick, was this a faculty initiative put together, or do we know if the students approached the administration for the building to put this together?
I don't have the specifics on that, Trustee Sloshower, but I can certainly find that out for you, and I can put it in a weekly memo.
As I said, just following up with Mr. Spencer, if this is something that the faculty, came up with, I would hope, it would be shared over with Mr. Thompson and his staff, which, as Mr. Spencer said, would make some sense. And even if it was a student initiative, it's probably a good idea maybe to see if Mr. Thompson has any faculty members that may be willing to, start up over there, and students that are willing to participate, to be president and so forth. So I think, good idea all the way around. But again,
Agreed.
let's try to have some, not always, we're one school district, in each building, the individual and, is itself. But, there are certain things that probably make sense to have throughout the district. This particular club kind of makes sense, since both of the junior highs are feeding into both of the high schools.
Trustee Sloshower, we are working to that end in regards to our cultural responsive committees and diversity committees. We are in the process of kicking that off, and you will receive information in a weekly memo. And there will be ongoing discussion that we hope to have those up and running at the district level and at each building, hopefully no later than April the 1st. And this will also be a big part of that. So you're absolutely right. And we're certainly working on it. Great comments. Thank you.
As I last comment, Dr. Bonk and I have discussed the cultural responsiveness at great length. And he has a lot of good ideas, which I hope, as he said, he will share soon. So I think it's excellent. Any other comments?
Yeah, John,
Yes, Rob.
just one thing. Regardless if who thought about this, teachers, staff, students, at this particular club, kudos to them, because it is an excellent, excellent venue for people to get together. Thank you.
That being said, 9.02, but we have to approve the charter first. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. 9.02, appointment of members of the district-wide school safety team. Keith?
Whereas the Board of Education of the Waukesha Central School District is committed to ensuring and maintaining a safe school environment for all students, staff, and visitors. And whereas on July 1st, 2016, the New York State Education Department amended Section 155.17 of the regulations of the Commissioner of Education regarding school safety plans, and mandated that the district-wide safety plan be developed by the district-wide safety team and updated annually, and be available for public comment for at least 30 days prior to its adoption. Whereas Section 2801-A4 of the New York State Education Law mandates that each district-wide safety team shall be appointed annually by the Board of Education. And whereas the district-wide safety team shall include but not be limited to representatives of the school board, teacher and administrator, and parent organizations, school safety personnel, and other school personnel. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendations of the superintendent of schools, hereby appoint the members of the Waukesha district-wide safety team as stated.
Motion?
Moved.
Second.
Okay, second by Marie Johnson. All those in favor? Any discussion, first of all?
Aye.
Discussion?
No.
Unanimous. All in favor? Unanimous.
Aye.
9.03, textbook adoption, plant and soil science, fundamentals and application.
Resolved that the Board of Education does hereby approve adoption of the textbook Plant and Soil Science Fundamentals and Application for the introductory plant science course as indicated in a memo dated January 5th, 2021 from the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction to the Interim Superintendent of Schools.
Motion?
So moved.
Yes.
Peggy, Mary Johnson, discussion? I want to make sure I take this course myself. So I think it's a great book and a great course. I think it'd be excellent for the students. All those in favor?
Now, most of us on the board, myself included, might have to take the course twice.
We'll take it together. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. 9.04, Board President appoints members to a subcommittee. Keith?
Board President John Lumiere will appoint board members to serve on a subcommittee for the purposes of drafting an employment contract for a specific candidate for the position of superintendent of schools.
So moved.
Okay,
There's no motion on this.
there's no motion. I'll make the appointment of the individual Peggy Kellen, Jim Spencer, Eddie Schleichauer, and myself, John Lumiere, ex post facto.
Oh, okay.
All right, with that being said, 9.05, first reading of policies, silent reading. Again, if there's anybody have any question regarding these first reading of the community, please address them to Peggy Kellen, the chairman of the policy committee, who does a great job. All right. 10.01, board members may request additional agenda items, discussion items, or
Okay.
information. Are there any
Yes, I
more-
have
I'd
a
like to
request
say
for
something.
information.
I'm sorry?
I have a request for information.
Okay,
I was just hoping that, I know that trustee Rubin serves on our Dutchess County BOCES board, and I was just
No,
hoping
he
that
did not.
maybe-
No, he did not. He did not this year and not last year. I was going to say, I thought Peggy Kellen and Dwight Bonk did an excellent job. I served on the Dutchess County School Boards through Dutchess BOCES.
Yeah, no, I didn't say that. I said you serve for the Dutchess County BOCES. Board of
I was elected to that, yes.
Yes, no, I was just hoping as our representative for that, possibly at the next meeting, if you could maybe give us an update on what's going on with their capital projects and stuff. I know we've got a lot of money that we invested, and I'm sure a lot of our constituents would like to hear what's going on over there. And we haven't really heard anything in like a year of what's going on. I just was wondering if you could possibly get us an update so that the community can hear it next month.
Well, if they'll allow me to talk, I am a representative of the county, not of the Dutchess, not of this particular board. But if I get authorization to speak on behalf of their board and to let that information, certainly.
okay. Try to get the information if you can, okay? I think
Will do.
We're spending a great deal of money. It was assessed over $10 million, I think it was. So I think it's important that we do know what's going on.
I
So,
think it was more than that, John.
Yeah, I think we're 33 million or something.
Now for this year,
I think we're close to that 30 or 35 million. You're absolutely right.
This year it was a $10 million outlay. So everybody's
yeah.
kind of
10 million.
correct.
I'm talking about the overall, yeah. Anyway, try to do that, Ruby, if you can, all right?
I will talk with them, yes.
That being said, 11.01, comments from the public. Are there any comments, Alberta?
Okay, let me check. Okay, nothing. Board members, there's no comments from the public tonight.
Thank you very much. With that being said, I'd like to thank all the board members for this meeting. And with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
So moved.
Marie Johnson, all in favor?
Yes.
Okay, Alberta, please stay on.